Hey! Welcome to, or back to, BarbieCoProductions. And if you saw my last video, you may remember that I went through and customized these dolls, ready for a story that I'm working on. But today, I'm gonna move on to some new projects. One thing I want to try before I do that though, is customizing these fairy garden pots. I found these at a cheap store. They're made of wood, and they're on strings. I did actually think they were all together on one long string, but I am now seeing that they're on separate strings. But I got them because I wanted to paint them and see if I could make them look like clay, preferably terracotta. This is a bit of an experiment, I haven't done this before. I'm gonna start by cutting the string or twine out of these pots. And I mixed up this color that looks a bit like terracotta. I'm hoping that it'll look better when it's fully dried, and I'm just brushing it on with a paintbrush. I'm trying not to smooth it out too much so that I don't take away all the texture, but I am pretty happy with the color. Here's what the first one looks like all dried, and I went through and made 3 more. Moving on though, back to what I actually wanted to start today, and if you saw my last video, you may have also seen I showed these plywood panels. These are the panels that I normally use to change out the wall color and texture in my room boxes, and today I am wanting to make another one. So I got these large paddle pop sticks. I find this to be a really good size for looking in scale to a Barbie size of a wooden panel. I got some more of these and my board. Which definitely needs some work as it is bowing quite a lot in the middle. But now just to cut the ends off all of these sticks. In the past you might have seen that I had my big orange miter cutters that I used to cut the sticks, but I recently got these new cutters that are more like scissors, or at least that's what they remind me of, and they cut through these sticks so much easier. I think my other cutters were quite good for cutting round things, so when I was cutting dowels, that worked really well. But this works really well to cut these bigger sticks. The only thing is that these don't have the guide to make sure you're cutting the sticks straight, so you do have to really watch the angle you're cutting them on. And after a little bit of time, I cut all the ends of the sticks off. Minus this one. But now I can start gluing these on. This is probably the part that takes the most time out of the process of making these, but I do think it's worth it in the end. This is the first row on, and with all 3 on, this is how it's looking. It looks a bit messy now, so it's really a trust the process, but I am gonna go through with these coffee stirrers to cover the very obvious line so that I don't have any gaps in the walls at the end. I'm outside now, and this is what the board is looking like so far. I went through and covered over all of those gaps, which makes it look so much neater. And I did this square pattern on the other side. The board is still looking a bit bowed, so it is time to get some paint on it. For this side, I'm gonna go with this blue-grey kind of color, and I think it'll go with the furniture that I have in mind. So I'm gonna start painting this now. When I first started painting this was the only brush I could find, and it was only the next day that I went back to add a second coat that I found my much bigger paintbrush that made this process so much easier. This is what the first coat is looking like. It's not fully dry yet, so the color looks a bit patchy still, but I am definitely a fan of the color. While I'm working on that board, in the meantime, I have some new characters that I've just finished customizing. Some are older characters that I've had in the past and have just gone back and tweaked, but these are the characters that I'm going to be making some clothes for now. These are what those clothes are looking like. I have this lined vest that I made. This one was an attempt, so it was my second go at making one of these. These are what the other pieces are looking like. Including this woolly vest, which every time I see it reminds me just a little bit of a sheep. This jumper, and these jeans. I also made some socks, but I left the feet out of the socks so that they can be worn with shoes while still looking like socks, but not take up all the room inside the shoes. This is outfit number 1. Here's what it looks like on. It's also why I had to leave this doll's head off until I got this jumper on. But now I can put the head back on the body. And here it is with shoes. Here's the second outfit for this girl. Her hair is a little bit crazy at the moment, and I think it's gonna need a boil wash in the very near future. However, for now, I have made this, I'm not sure what you'd call it, like a wraparound, but it's also like a hat. I made it quite a while ago, but it is holding her hair in place for now. Here's what her outfit looks like on. Her shoes are just a little bit big as they are Harry Potter shoes, so I put some socks with them. And everyone's falling over, so for that, I'm gonna have to bring in a chair. As for the third outfit, I have this jumper. And I recently got this doll from the op shop. She was $5, but it then ended up being a half price day, so she was $2.50. And I originally got this doll because I wanted to see what kind of character I could make with this articulation. However, I did also realize that she had these pants. She is a horse riding doll, but I like the cherry red color of these pants that she has. And wow, those boots have really stained her legs. I went through and gave these pants a quick hand wash and left them out to dry. This red color at the top definitely is not fitting, but the cherry color, I really like that color. And with the jumper, you don't see the bright red part. I was sort of going for more of a active outfit here. With that in mind, the vision might be a little bit clearer. And now for my last outfit. I started out by making these shorts in this textured fabric. Then I added this white bodysuit and this shirt. It is one of my Ken shirts, but it's made out of a bit of a thicker t-shirt material. And I think the fact that it's oversized and a bit thicker, when it's on, it looks more like a jumper. For a jacket, I have this duffel coat that I made a couple years ago. If you have been around for a while, you might remember it. I used some bands to tie the sleeves down so they don't get bunched up in the coat. And here's what that looks like on. I really like all of these colors together. As for the shoes, I did manage to somehow squeeze the socks into the shoes. So these ones are not pretend socks. And I do like these shoes. I'm also going to add these glasses. I like that they are the rose gold color. They don't stand out too much, and that is what I like about them with this outfit. Last thing I want to add for this outfit is a scarf in a slightly different color. I like that it breaks up a lot of the lighter colors that she's wearing. One more thing that I would like to do for this doll is find some kind of hairstyle for her hair, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. And for this girl, I was testing out some colors for a hat that I could make her because I was unsure if the one that she was wearing went with the rest of the outfit or not. And I do really like this blue color on her. I think it suits her really well. But for now, she's gonna have to keep wearing this one until I figure out a style of hat for her. But what I can do is use these little buttons that I got on AliExpress quite a while ago now and add them to the front of this vest. I wanted another little detail on here to sort of finish it off a bit more. So I'm just going back and forth and sewing these on. I definitely like this color. And of course, I was having a bit of a problem with the needle, so I had to get my pliers and give it a little bit of help. And here's what it looks like on. And this is what they all look like together. There's still a few more tweaks that I want to make, just like for the characters that I made in my last video. There's more little things that I'd like to make, but a lot of them I haven't made before, so I'm trying to figure out how to make them. But that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, or check out my community tab where I post regular behind the scenes pictures and updates. Bye! Just as a quick disclaimer, my videos are intended for a 13+ audience and are not made for kids. As an adult who collects dolls, I use customization methods and sharp tools that are not suitable for children.